He got caught up in one of these scams on LinkedIn. And after he'd spent all of his own money, he then started taking money from his local church, where he was a part-time pastor. And when he'd done that, then he came for the bank's money. He ended up spending $47 million of money the bank didn't even have. That was more capital than the bank had, and blowing it on this scam. And so when it all came crashing down, so did the bank. The bank collapsed because of the CEO falling for the scam. There's a really heartbreaking bit where this guy who was a friend of his and was a fellow part-time pastor at the church describes that moment where the bank collapses and the church accounts are down at the bank. So he goes down just to check the accounts, and most of the accounts were federally insured, and for most people who had accounts at the bank, it was okay. But he goes down to the bank to check all is well with the accounts of the church. And that's when he goes through the statements and sees, oh, he's been stealing from the church. I found those characters really moving because I guess, I could relate to people like that, who there was so much hurt in this community in Kansas, that their friend had done this to them. Because their friend had done this to them, but he himself had been a victim. No one was more a victim of this scam than the bank CEO himself, who lost all of his own money and is now in prison. But people were so hurt and upset.
There's so much there to talk about, and this part of it is psychology, because we're not talking about a financially naive person. We're talking about somebody who makes a good living, who's financially educated, who runs a bank, and yet they fell for the scam. That's not even the really disturbing part. It's the level of sophistication which really got to me. This is a global operation. They use artificial intelligence. They use state-of-the-art technology. You don't have to be dumb or naive or simple-minded to be fooled by this.
The people who are falling for these scams, they don't have your typical scam victim profile. You kind of think of someone who's older, who maybe is a bit naive to the internet, who maybe can't really discern, what is legitimate and what is not. The people who are falling for this are people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, who are educated, who have money, because that's the people that these scammers are targeting. And the methods are very sophisticated. It's a whole team of people working on you. It appears as one person, but it's a team of people, and they're drawing from scripts. They know your vulnerabilities, whether it's loneliness or looking for an investment opportunity or whatever it is.
See it for yourself on The Great Untold on YouTube now.